In 2024, I raved about The Yellow House, a two-player only trick-taking game by designer Gogh and publisher Mandu Games. This is a trick-taking game like no other that I've played, and I have no idea how to play well, but I found the exploration process really engaging. And in 2025, Gogh and Mandu Games are back with another two-player only trick-taking game, Faust versus Mephisto, which has little similarities with the Yellow House, but is otherwise something you have not encountered before, but which you might want to try. Here are most of the components of Faust versus Mephisto, with the deck consisting of 22 cards in 4 suits, with a different number of cards in each suit as indicated on the board. You're going to shuffle the deck, set 2 cards aside, and then play a somewhat traditional trick-taking game. So you have some hidden information, cards put out of play. Each player gets a hand of 10 cards, and the player who is playing Mephisto, or Mephistopheles, will lead in the first trick. And whatever card they play, that is going to be the first suit that is placed onto the suit ranking chart. So green is at the bottom, is the first thing played. You must follow suit if possible, so you look at your hand and decide what green you're going to play. Actually, you look at your hand and you're like, well, 7, 5, 4. Okay, what do I want to play here? Let's just go ahead and play the 7. We'll win this trick, put it aside, and now you get to lead. Okay, maybe you want to go ahead and lead the 5 and hope that I'm going to play the 6. However, you have to keep in mind the goals for each player because they differ. If you are Mephistopheles, you want one player to win all the cards of a suit, whether it's Faust or whether it's you. If that happens, then you get to corrupt that suit. The suits all represent different things. Green is youth, and red is love, blue is knowledge, yellow is power. You are trying to corrupt Faust. You're making a deal with him. If he gets all the cards, or you get all the cards, then you have successfully corrupted him. You've either given him everything that he wants in that aspect of life, or Faust has bargained it away and given it to you so that he can get other things. Well, thematically, that's what's going on here. As Faust, you don't want that to happen. So you want to split the colors. Now, if you play the 5 and I have a green that's not a 6, which is very likely because only 2 cards are out of play, then I can play that card and lose. Okay? So you probably didn't want to do that. You win this. Now you've got 4 green cards. If you win all 7, or however many there are, because again, 2 are set aside, then we're going to flip green. And if I flip 2 of these suits over 2 rounds, I win the game. As Mephistopheles, Faust just has to keep that from happening. So you probably didn't want to lead that 5. Now, you can lead a different suit, except red. Red cannot be led, that's its special power, until that suit is broken, or that's the only thing that the player has in their hand when they're leading to a trick, as in hearts. So you can lead blue or yellow. You look here and you're like, well, blue goes from 1 to 5. I've got the top 2 cards in blue. I don't want to win all the blue. Maybe I want to lead yellow. I want to give yellow away and then try to win yellow, possibly. So maybe you lead yellow. Now, if you played blue, blue would go on the chart next. It's ranked higher than green. It's the next thing that's been led. You're adding them to the chart in order, except that yellow skips a slot. So if you do this, whatever goes red or blue goes next will be below yellow. So if you lead yellow 1, I like what I have. I'm going to guess what you have based on what I have. I don't know, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to win all of these, and I don't want to. So I'm going to ditch my high card, win yellow. Now, what you can do, instead of just playing cards, is to use the other aspect of the game. And that is the coins. Each player has 2 coins, and these represent deals. Kind of like the deal that Faust is going to make with Mephisto, where you're trading one thing for another. I can, on my turn, spend the coin, whether I'm leading or following, and direct what the other player has to play for me from their own hand. So, I just won this yellow trick. I want to try to make sure that I win all the yellow. So, I can say, play your highest yellow for me. And you look at your hand, and you must do that. Right? You have only 1 yellow. So you have to play this, and this is now my card that was played out of your hand. And now you have to follow. Okay? You must follow yellow if possible. You have no more yellow, so you could play blue or red or green. And if you play blue or red, it's going to be added to the rank chart here, but you see a chance to play green. Okay, well, now you've split green between me and you. Green will not be flipped this round. Yellow might be, though. I win the trick, I lead again. Okay, let's play yellow. You must follow suit if possible. You can't, so you decide what you're going to go for. You're going to give me a red. Red gets put on the board. I win this. You have the 4 and 3. You think you can win at least 1 red trick. Split those red cards. I lead again. Now, if I lead another yellow and you have a blue in your hand, blue would come on and be ranked higher than yellow, and I would lose that card. So, probably don't want to do that. I can lead red if I want, but then I know you're probably going to win it, unless the red 3 and 4 are put aside, and then red would be split. If I play blue, I just showed you what I have, then you know it's going to be high. How am I going to avoid this? I want someone to win all the things. Let me go ahead and play blue. Blue gets added to the board here. That's actually a bad idea. No, it could, well, no, it's probably not going to work. I can play blue. You come in here, you take it, and now you lead the next trick. However, before you lead the next trick, everything but blue is removed from the chart. Right? Blue's special power is that once it's placed in a round, it stays ranked here. And now we continue. You won a trick, you are going to lead. If you lead blue, I must also play blue, and blue is going to win the trick. You're actually okay with that because, okay, play the 5, I must play something, you win. You know that when I play a blue card, then I am going to win a trick and blue will be split. You can only lead red. I must follow if possible. I can. Red is now split. You lead. I play what I wish. Oh, sorry, red should have gone on the board here. Now, if I play blue, I'm going to win it, and then blue is split. I don't think I can avoid that. But I can play yellow. Yellow comes on 1 higher than it would. I win the trick. So now I have all the yellow cards. And now, I must play from my hand. And I will play this. So green comes on. And you have to use your coin to make me play something. I only have 1 card. Whatever you say, you can say any suit, and you can say highest or lowest. And I must play my highest or lowest card that I have of that suit, but I have only a single card, so I'm going to play that. You can say whatever you want, but the card that I'm going to play for you is the blue 1. And blue is ranked higher than green. you would win this. So you have won all the blue, that's corrupted. I have won all the yellow, that's corrupted. Mephistopheles wins. Because we don't even need to play a second round. I've already corrupted 2 suits, and that's that. It's a very one-sided game, of course, because I'm making all the choices for you, but that's how the game works. Now, that's a lot of tricky elements that are going on in here. Let me shuffle again, give another hand. I've played 4 times on a review copy for Mandu Games. I find this game fascinating, but I don't play it well. I play it well when I'm playing it just with myself, 2-sided. So, I'm leading as Mephistopheles. We start a new game. Mephistopheles always leads the first round. And you're going to look at your hand. Let me arrange them so you can see. Pretend you're Mephistopheles. What are you going to do? What are you going to lead to try to get all the cards of a suit into one player's pile? You can look at blue. Okay. If I play blue, if I lead blue, blue's going at the bottom, and even when this chart is filled with all 4 suits and then reset, blue is going to stay at the bottom. Possibly. I'll explain why in a second. But blue is at the bottom, you're going to play blue, or you can use a coin to try to make me play something else. You look at your hand, and you know that, whatever you play, there's a good chance that you're going to end up winning all the blue. So, you could use a coin, spend it, and say, play your highest green. And if I don't have blue, I would be forced to play my green 7. If I do have blue, then I have to play my highest blue. Because you said highest green, I'm still restricted to playing the highest of something. But the only legal play I can make right now is to play the 3. So I do that. I have played the 3 blue for you. You now win the trick. And actually, maybe you're going to get off here because now blue is locked in at the lowest ranking suit. Okay. Now you lead something else. You know that you have all the other blue cards. You can play what you wish as blue. I have to play something that's not blue. And then that's going to go on the board to be ranked higher, and now blue is split. Okay. Possibly not a good call for me. I like the idea of giving you the blue, but actually that's the wrong way to play because now blue is locked low and I'm going to win blue from you. I have to think through everything that I'm trying to do in this game multiple times because often I will do something like that thinking it's the right way to go, but it's not. And I realize that only after I start the round. My first play was a mistake in that I already set it up so that blue is going to be split between us. Not good. So what now? What do I play in response to this to try to win? Well, I could play the yellow 1, which is going to set up here. I have the 6 and 5. There's a good chance I'm going to win the rest of the yellow. Maybe, except yellow is going to go here. Something else is here. You'll probably still have a 3rd yellow to play after I do play 6 and 5. I could break red. Red goes here. I win this. Okay. Now, how this works is if green is played next, green is going to go here, and when it's time to play yellow, yellow skips this spot because yellow always adds 1, and it actually falls to the lowest rank. So in fact, there is something lower than blue right now. It is yellow. Right? This assumes I'm going to play green first. Try to win something from you in green. You want to split green, so you're going to throw this. And now I lead again. Again, I can use a coin to say, play your highest green for me. And then you're going to play something else. Yellow wouldn't be on the board yet. You're going to play something else. You play a green for me. The only choice you have, I say play the highest green. You have to play this. And now you are going to play for yourself. And whatever you play, it's going to go towards me, because red is ranked here and yellow would be ranked here. Or you could spend the coin and ask me to play a green, but then that's just putting more green into my hand. So, do this. Yellow goes here. This comes over. These come off. And now what do I lead? I'm only going to lead green or yellow. Green's going to go here. Yellow's go here. I want to try to win all the yellow now. Let's lead yellow first. You can use a coin, but you know I can play nothing higher than a 6 yellow, and I probably have something that I could throw off so that I can win. So, play the 4. And again, I can do the same and keep going. But maybe this time you throw green, so green comes on. If I throw another yellow now, red will come up here and you can respond by taking the red. Okay, by playing red, taking that trick, taking that yellow card away so that I don't gain that one as well. Okay, there's a couple hands to give you an idea of what is going on in this game. And it's just 3 fascinating elements all mixed together where you have the different victory conditions. I want one player to take all the cards of a suit, and Faust doesn't. You have the ranks that keep changing over the course of play. Once that 4th card comes in, they get reset, except for blue. And so now things that you thought were going to win permanently can be ranked under something else. And then you have the coins to force someone to play a card for you. That's the trickiest aspect here. And you don't have to use them. We could each end up with a coin. We just play out all our cards for ourselves from this point on. You don't have to use the coins, but you have to keep the coins in mind each time you play. Which of your cards in hand could then be used against you, your own play? There's an overview of Faust versus Mephisto, which I have played 4 times on a review copy from Mandu Games, 3 times as Mephistopheles and once as Faust. And if you want a bit of advice, do not play both roles within the same game session because you will probably find that extremely confusing, as me and my opponent did when we tried that. Because you're looking at your hand very different ways depending upon how you are going to win the game. As Mephistopheles, you're trying to get all the cards in one hand or the other, so you're assessing your hand and trying to plan what to play, what to lead as well, because you're the lead in the first round. In order to make that happen, how do you want the suits to be ranked? Right? What am I going to play first? And how am I going to use the coins to try to make that happen, to make you win or lose a trick, or me, to reach that goal? And then playing as Faust, completely the different way. You're going to assess the hand differently, the ranks differently, the coins differently, just because of that goal that you're trying to get. You want each person to win some of the suit, and so you have to think about the cards differently and how you're going to play them. It was extremely challenging, although playing the game just as one role is also challenging because the game didn't feel like anything familiar. It was one concept with all the rules driving you toward that concept of people making deals, or possibly deciding not to make a deal to save their humanity, and all the elements work towards that, which is similar to the Yellow House, which represented an argument between Van Gogh and Gogh as to what was required to make great art. Right? In this game, you had 4 suits with no numbers on the cards, and the rank of the suits was determined during play, and you could discard cards from your hand to boost the rank of a suit over other ones. But of course, you discarded those cards. So those now valuable colors, you can't play because you just discarded them. So did you give up your strength for no purpose? It's a fascinating design, and this one is the same. They both feel like concepts that the games have been designed around, rather than someone deciding they want to design a trick-taking game and then wondering what they can do depending upon whatever they've seen before, right? I'm going to add another suit. I'm going to change the numbers. I'm going to have duplicate numbers. I'm going to have different gap, all this sort of stuff. Points on cards, restrictions on what you can play. There's all sorts of things you can take as a trick-taking game and the elements to it, and then I'm going to change this thing. And it's a different game, and it plays differently, but it's just an iteration on what's come before. And these feel more like completed concepts where you have an idea, a story that you're trying to tell, and the game falls out of that story as you're trying to replicate the feelings that people would have in that situation. So they feel more organic and whole than most of the trick-taking games I've played. That'll be an interesting concept, but I don't know. It just feels more like a design trick, a design decision just to twist something for the sake of twisting something and then seeing how it plays out. And maybe it's an interesting game, but it lacks this sort of organic wholeness that comes across in these two games. So it's really challenging to play. I've had rounds in which I have lost. I realized I lost the suit as Mephistopheles after I played my first card. I would lead something, and of course that suit is now at the bottom of the chart, or second up if it's yellow. And if I'm trying to win all of that color, I just put it at the bottom. So how am I going to win with that color? I may have a handful of that color, and now I made it the worst thing out there. And I realized that only after I played the first card. So there's lots of beginning mistakes that you'll probably make, especially when you're using the coins, because it's a little hard sometimes to try to piece out what's going to happen when using the coin. You set up that requirement for someone, play this suit and play your lowest one. Okay, but they're playing that for you. And then how are they going to respond to it from what they have in their hand? So you're trying to use your almost full knowledge of what they have in hand, right? 2 cards are out of play, but you know what you have, so you know what they probably have. And you're trying to use that information to make something happen by using the coin. But it's a little hard sometimes to picture how that's going to roll out. And of course, maybe they're void in a suit that you thought they had, and they get to do something else. So really fascinating stuff going on in an incredibly simple design that consists of 22 cards. I mean, yes, there are suit tokens that you put on a board, but you don't necessarily need that. You don't need the coins. You just have the cards and then the concepts that all come together that drive this fascinating play experience that you will probably not play well at all. I mean, I played 4 times. I've got an idea of how to play, but I don't think I'm anywhere near good yet. I'm just better than anyone who's playing their first time. Possibly. Can't guarantee that. But I don't know. Maybe you want to give it a try if you're into trick-taking games. I'm very curious to see what comes next, because I know Gogh has published several designs on their own. Maybe those are going to be picked up by Mandu Games as well, given wider distribution. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's curious to see those concepts because, again, it seems more like you've got a subject matter that you're interested in, and then you're exploring it that way through these design elements. That's something I really love. It's not just artwork or text or whatever that's giving the feel of the game. It's the actual gameplay itself that is putting you in that story. You can really feel it.